Hello everybody, welcome to Unit 5, Section A, House with the Grey Gate. Students, there are a few questions which I need to ask before we begin. Like, where do your grandparents stay? How often do you visit them? And how do you spend time with them? As we know, the role of grandparents in each individual's life is nothing short of vital. Let us find out why. The growing stage of a child is very important. It is the time when he or she learns about the essence of life. Often in this hectic world, parents are not able to spend quality time with their children. However, children begin to learn the moral and core values of life in the presence of their grandparents. Interaction with your grandparents allows you to explore the world. You get to peek through their lives from a closer perspective. You inculcate the habits of sharing and caring when you are close to your grandparents, and these habits help you grow as a compassionate person. Children, most of the times you find your parents scold you, but your grandparents will never do that. They are your biggest supporters throughout life. Grandparents believe in the skills and talents of their grandchildren. They always encourage us to pursue our dreams. Their unconditional love acts like a charm and gives us more confidence. No matter how talkative of a person you are, your grandparents will always hear you out. They are the best storytellers and they are certainly our biggest mentors. Whenever we are around them, we have a calm mind. They make us feel safe and protected. Children, you must be wondering why I'm talking about grandparents. It's because the poem that we are going to study, that is The House with the Grey Gate, is the poem that revolves around an old couple who lives in a house with a grey gate. This is a wonderful poem that lets us know about the hope of an old couple who lives in the house, who looks at the gate when the door makes any kind of sound, although they don't have any visitor. The modern culture of their kids leaves behind the old couple alone, and no one ever particularly cares about them at all. Even though they refuse to give up and always hope it would be someone on the door, probably their kids who left them whenever there is a sound at the door due to air or anything else. It is also metaphorically mentioned that their hope never ends, just like the garden, which never weeded out throughout all this time. One must learn to always have hope, no matter how hard the circumstances might be. We must also notice it. It is not an ideal thing to leave old aged parents to live by themselves, as we are nothing without them. Before starting with the poem, let's know about the poet. Tabish Khair is the poet of this poem. He is an Indian English author who lives in Denmark. He was born in Ranchi and grew up in his hometown Gaya. He has received the All India Poetry Prize for some of his poems. Now let's read the poem. In my street there is a white house with a little grey gate that is slightly off one hinge and always open. An old woman sits on its porch and knits, looking up when the gate creaks with age or wind, expecting someone, though no one comes, nor has come for years. An old man sometimes tidies up the faded garden where shrubbery has spread, refusing to be weeded out. Ever since I have moved here, I have seen this little white house, with the old man and the old woman and an old pattern of life, refusing to be weeded out from the skyscraping street where two people had grown roots, once scattered seeds, and now, with a hope stubborn as weeds, still peer through curtained windows when the gate creaks. Now let's understand the poem. The poet, that is Tabish Khair, tells us that in the street where he stays is a white colored house with a grey gate. The gate is slightly loose at one hinge. Here, one hinge means the one attachment or joint of the gate that's become loose and thus it's always open. Here, an old woman, she sits on its porch. Porch is the covered shelter front of the house and she's knitting something. She looks up whenever the door creaks. Creaks means it makes a noise due to it being old or because of the wind. The old woman, she watches at the gate from time to time as if she is expecting someone, but no one comes and nobody has come since years. The old man, that is the old woman's husband, sometimes tidies up, means cleans up the faded garden. Here it's said faded as nobody is there to take proper care of it. Where shrubbery has spread, it means that the garden's small area is covered with small plants that do not want to be weeded out. That means it doesn't want to be removed. In the second stanza, the poet tells that ever since he has moved there, he has seen the white house with the old man and the old woman who is following an old pattern of life, that is, they are following the daily routine of not bothering anyone. And the old couple have settled and grown roots in their little house and refuse to leave, even though the area around them has developed and is surrounded by skyscrapers, that is, very tall buildings. But they still peer, that is, watch through their curtained windows whenever the gate creaks, as if they are waiting for someone to arrive. But nobody does. So, children, you have understood how deep the poem is and the emotional crisis the old couple is going through. Their only desire is that someone, that is, the children, to come and visit them. So, whenever possible, try to spend time with your grandparents and keep them happy and safe.